We are 10 days into 2023, and it's our first opportunity to talk to San Antonio Mayor Ron Nirenberg about what he sees in the new year. Mr. Mayor, thank you for joining us. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
I want to talk about the St. Mary's Strip, and particularly there's been an idea floated about helping out some of these businesses that are suffered because of the road construction that seems to be ongoing there. I know there's a discussion tomorrow. Explain to me what that discussion is and what do you think is going to happen tomorrow?
Sure. Well, I asked the city to work on a grant proposal, and tomorrow they'll present a relief program for businesses that were hit with the two punches of COVID and then subsequent construction. This is a great step forward for the affected businesses, and I share the frustrations of those who have been impacted by the post-COVID protracted construction projects. I'm especially glad that some of the affected businesses were consulted on the structure of the relief program that would be presented tomorrow by our city manager, Eric Walsh. The city manager has authorization under the previous ARPA ordinance to go ahead and execute that plan. So really tomorrow's discussion is feedback from the council, and assuming there's no pivots, he should execute on that program immediately. So it's a good step forward, I think, for some of the discussion that we've been having for a few months now regarding those businesses.
So if the execution could happen immediately, when could these businesses actually get the money in hand?
Yeah, we're going to learn the timeline for the grant proposal tomorrow. And, as with any grant proposal, there is an application process and eligibility criteria that has to be verified. But our goal is to make sure that those businesses that are affected, again, by the two punches of COVID and protracted construction, they have access to those funds as soon as possible. So again, we'll get the specifics on the timeline tomorrow. There will be an application period and vetting of those proposals, of those applications, but our goal is to get that relief out as quickly as we can.
Are you confident that this relief is enough to help some of those businesses who say that they're just struggling to make it day by day?
The ultimate relief can only be provided by those construction projects being finished. And the city manager and I have discussed that. He's going to also talk about the context of those construction projects and some steps that he's going to be taking to ensure that those projects are finished expeditiously. We know that the St. Mary's construction project, for instance, has a timeline of March. We want to make sure that that doesn't slip anymore. We want to make sure that everything that we can do to provide access for those businesses while there is construction underway, we're doing what we can do there as well. So there's multiple efforts underway to ensure that construction projects are completed, especially those that are in big avenues and corridors that are impacting a lot of businesses. And we're going to hear all about those plans from the city management tomorrow.
The new legislative session just started in Austin today. The city always has what is on its list, its legislative agenda, list of wants and needs. Is there something topping that list that the city is really going to be trying to make happen in Austin during this session?
I will say this, a common feature in our legislative agenda over the last perhaps 20 years now is the fact that we don't want to be gripped in the kind of inaction and polarized paralysis that you see, that frankly you saw in Congress last week. That is a feature that is becoming more prevalent in legislatures across the country. And the reason why local governments are effective is because we can create solutions to the problems that are experienced by our neighbors, and we can execute on those. And so our legislative agenda is really centered on ensuring that we can deliver basic services and that there's no legislation that negatively impacts our ability to provide services to our residents, whether that's delivering on protections offered by emergency services, to our development codes, to our ability to keep the lights on and ensure that we have a reliable electrical grid. So all of that has been a common feature of a legislative agenda, but ensuring local authority for our residents to get the job done through their local government is probably job number one.
So a group called the Justice Coalition, Act for SA and others, formally entered their petitions to the city clerk's office today, asking for some changes in police procedure and the decriminalization of certain things like marijuana. Your initial thoughts on that idea?
Well, so first, I've long been on the record in support of a woman's right to choose. And frankly, marijuana laws across this country, particularly in this state, are in dire need of reconsideration to better reflect the views of the public that we've seen in poll after poll. The appropriate bodies of government have failed to act on many of these issues within the petition, so I understand the public's frustration and the petition writers' frustration on that. That said, many of the issues presented in the petition appear to be governed by state laws, which can't be altered by a city charter. So going forward, my hope is that we can continue to do right by the people under the rule of law. But again, city charter does not trump state law, and I think there's some challenges there with what's being presented.
I want to shift gears here a little bit. You know, you spearheaded the no confidence vote against Councilman Perry after his investigation in the hit and run accident. Since the last time we've talked, he's formally been charged with DUI. Does that change the situation at all for you?
No, I've been clear from the very start. If the allegations were true that Clayton Perry should not be on the city council, he should resign. What is in the charter, the only authority that the city council has to remove a member, though, is on conviction of a crime of moral turpitude. So in absence of a conviction, the authority or the choice of whether or not to be seated as an elected official is really up to the member, him or herself, and the voters. The only other recourse the voters would have to select a new council member prior to an election, though, is through a recall petition. And that, as of yet, has not occurred. But there has not been a conviction yet in this case, and until there isn't any decision for the council to make with regard to whether or not Clayton Perry can remain a council member officially.
And, you know, speaking of the future of the city council, we got a big deadline coming up, the deadline to file to run in the May election. Is your name going to be on the list to run for mayor again?
I have one term left, and God willing, I will be serving my final term after the May election. I'll be termed out after 4 terms, but it has been the honor and a privilege of a life to represent this community. We have come together through some difficult times, and we're doing some very important work, good work for the future of our community, and my intent is to continue doing that work.
All right, so I'm going to be at the Alamo Dome on Friday. I'm going to broadcast live from there at 5 and 6. Am I going to see you down there?
You will see me down there. Wouldn't miss it. 50th anniversary of the San Antonio Spurs, which is a huge moment for our entire community. I will say this. Thank you for bringing it up. We know that traffic is always a challenge. This game starts at 6:30, which is an early tip-off because of television. If you're planning to go down there, go early. Go there early. Make sure that you leave plenty of time to commute and to park and to walk from your vehicle. And if you happen to work downtown and you're not going to the game, take alternate routes or see if you can remote work or perhaps even leave early on Friday if you can. But, you know, we're expecting a full house at the Dome, and we want to make sure everybody has a good time, and that includes considerations for traffic.
Yeah, Greg Simmons has already reminded me that I need to leave early. I need to get there. He goes, don't think you're going to leave at 4 o'clock and get there by 5. So he's already cautioned me.
Already.
Yeah.
There was some finger wagging. So we're on the up and up on that. Mayor, thank you so much. Absolutely. Thanks for being here.
You too. Thanks.
Take care. We'll be right back.
Come March 1st, working from home full-time as a Disney employee will be a thing of the past. Returning Disney CEO Bob Iger ordered corporate employees to begin working in person 4 days a week.
Yeah, Iger said in an email to employees that creativity and growth happens when peers are physically together and connect and observe. Other large companies, including Apple and Snapchat, have also revised their remote work policies since the pandemic to include more in-office hours.
Sure, a lot of companies are doing that at this point. Let's take a look outside right now. It's been a nice start to the week. Beautiful these last couple of days, but we're watching for some changes, Adam.
Yeah, we are. We have a cold front that's headed our way. It's not going to make it here until tomorrow night, and that's when the more noticeable changes will be underway. Right now we're at 75, but by 9 o'clock down to 61, midnight at 58 degrees. And after midnight, temperatures aren't going to fall off a whole lot. However, fog will be forming, so anticipate the reduced visibility for the morning commute. We'll take a look at our futurecast in terms of visibility, how bad it's going to be and when the fog finally lifts tomorrow in just a bit.
All right, it is Tuesday and we are moving through the week and ready for some changes, perhaps.
Well, if you don't like 80s in January, something else is on the way.
Something else is always on the way.
Something's always on the way, yeah, but it will be actually record challenging warmth tomorrow. Today, well above average. 79 degrees our high temperature. Keep in mind the average is 63. The record today was 86. Tomorrow, the record is 84, and I think we'll just be a few degrees shy of it. But look at Del Rio today, made it up to 86. Cotulla, high temperature, 86 degrees. Even Kerrville made it up to 82. Let's take a look at what we're expecting tomorrow afternoon for our high temperatures. Now remember, we'll start the day in the 50s. By the afternoon, we'll have some sunshine, get back into the 80s. 82 around San Antonio, mid 80s south of town, and mid to upper 80s as you get along the Rio Grande. And you look at the temperatures the rest of this week in terms of highs, afternoon maximum temperature, we're back down into the 60s. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So the cold front that hits tomorrow night will reset our temperatures a bit, and you'll notice the change. It's just not going to be frigid weather or anything that's going to give us a freeze. We'll get close to freezing one morning, but I don't think we're going to be hitting it around San Antonio. One thing you'll contend with tomorrow morning, the fog. We mentioned this earlier. Here's our futurecast. I like how it shows this. Well after midnight, the fog developing, and often it develops from the southeast to the northwest. I mean, our moisture source is the Gulf of Mexico after all. And by tomorrow morning, the fog is likely to be more widespread than what we had earlier today, even making its way up into parts of the hill country and farther, a little bit west of I-35. But I do think the thickest fog will be locally and then east of I-35. By 10, 11 a.m., it lifts, it dissipates, and we should have some sunshine. So we're not going to be dealing with that gray, low, foggy dampness all day. By lunchtime, I think we'll be off to a lot of sunshine. Quiet across Texas. Big story, still west coast of the U.S. Another big pinwheeling low pressure system coming into the west coast, atmospheric river associated with it, extreme rainfall, high elevation snow, and another one lined up behind it to make its way onshore. Now, these can sometimes provide energy to give us the kind of lift that we need for showers and thunderstorms, but unfortunately, that's not going to be the case here. Most of the energy to the north of us, we'll have a weak cold front swing through with this, but we're not going to have the conditions available to give us the rainfall that we need. Unfortunately, it's looking like a dry and sunny forecast here. And this is just a general representation from one computer model, but you look at the next 7 days and it keeps the main moisture, the large scale moisture, completely away from us. Actually, up and down the plains, looking dry. The action's generally west coast, but also a little bit in the eastern portion of the U.S. One thing you'll notice Thursday with the cold front, not just a bit of a temperature drop, but the wind. That pesky wind out of the north, gusting to 36 miles per hour at times on Thursday. You'll be noticing that, and if you're susceptible to mountain cedar pollen, it's likely to boost that pollen count. Today it's high at 1,300, but remember, high concentration of mountain cedar trees in the hill country. When that wind comes out of the north, it pushes that cedar from the pollen from the hill country southward down into San Antonio and other areas. So the north wind on Thursday likely to raise and spike that mountain cedar count. And we talked about this earlier in the newscast. We got some information. Sarah Spivey did some digging and talked to our allergist. And you look at the numbers, the highest mountain cedar count on record, 1982 at 80,000. grains per cubic meter. It's measured grains per cubic meter. The highest in the last 15 years was 2011, and that was 48,000. So tomorrow, temperature 56 in the morning, fog by the afternoon, sunshine, making it up to 82. The coolest mornings are going to be 38 on Friday and Saturday down to 35. That's when we could have a hill country freeze, briefly.
All right, thanks, Adam.
In case you missed it, coming up next. Here's today's In Case You Missed It.
It's Tuesday, January 10th.
A man killed while trying to break into a downtown apartment this morning. According to SAPD, the person who lived in that apartment shot the suspect. This happened around 7 this morning at an apartment on West Euclid near San Pedro. Police say a man tried to kick down a bolted door to that apartment, but before he could get in, the person inside pulled out a gun and fired. That suspect died there at the scene.
Jose Irregues was shot by police after threatening people with a gun and pointing it at the officers. Officer Joshua Nicholson and Ryan Tovar shot Irregues after he was in critical condition at the time. However, KSAT Investigates found out on Tuesday that the gun used by that suspect was in fact a BB gun. The officers are on administrative duty while Irregues faces 2 felony charges of terroristic threats against a police officer.
The Department of Education is proposing lower student loan payments for millions of people. It's part of the Biden administration's plan to change the existing income-driven repayment program. The proposed rule could reduce payments to 40 cents per dollar, saving borrowers some $1,000 per year. It would also pause payments for anyone making less than $30,600 a year. Final rule could be released later this year.
And don't forget to buy a lottery ticket if you play. Tonight's drawing of the Mega Millions is now the 3rd largest in the game's history. It's up to $1.1 billion or $568 million for the cash option. Mega Millions says this is the 4th time in 4 years the top prize has exceeded $1 billion.
An all-female cast is the star of a limited edition pack of M&Ms. Most of us familiar with the so-called spokes candies, the talking M&Ms with legs, arms, facial expressions. Well, the purple, brown, and green M&Ms are spokes candies voiced by women.
Yeah, candy maker Mars says they are shown upside down on the package to, quote, celebrate women everywhere who are flipping the status quo. The packs come in 3 options: milk chocolate, peanut butter, and peanut. Mars said a portion of the profits will go to organizations that are, quote, uplifting and empowering women, end quote.
I like it.
Good deal. Fog tomorrow morning, mid-50s. Then by the afternoon, we'll have sunshine. Even by 11 a.m. to noon, I think we'll see a decent amount of sunshine. Mostly sunny afternoon, but record challenging warmth. 82 is what we're predicting. The record, by the way, 84. So it's within reach. I just think we'll be a few degrees shy. Cold front hits tomorrow night, so back down into the 60s for highs Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Cooler, but not frigid or anything, and still sunny and windy on Thursday. Prepare for that.
Favorite kind of M&M?
Peanut.
Almond.
Peanut butter. Almond M&Ms? Okay. How about you?